Hey guys, and welcome back to the Hobby Dude 007 channel. Today we're back on our tiny Lund PEPSI 1969 Camaro for our USAC build, and I want to share with you some of the stuff that I've gotten done since our last video, as well as what we're going to be doing today. So let's get busy.
Bring your model to life with MCV products. Visit them on the World Wide Web at mcvproducts.com.
Okay guys, since our last video, I went a little crazy with the chassis modifications, as you see here. I cut out a whole lot because I decided I wanted to rebuild some of this stuff. So we're going to wrap that up today. Here you see I've got some of the floor panels back in and clamped up, and then here's a look at it with some putty on it where I can get the joints together. And here is where we are today. And what we're going to be doing today is we're going to build up the inside of this tub, the wall in there, as well as fill all of this back in as well. So that's going to look a lot better. Then we'll continue our frame rails here back. I have got our fuel cell ready to go. And that'll be inside, of course. That's not exactly straight, but that'll be inside the frame rails, and it's kind of hard to hold it still there. But anyway, you get the idea there. So we're going to be wrapping that up and then getting our new mounting points for the leaf springs, all that kind of stuff. And we're also going to be wrapping up the interior. If you remember the interior tub where we use the contour gauge to make the panel that goes back here just like a piece of sheet metal, and if I can get close enough, hopefully you can see the little rivet marks down through there. I've got a little bit of cleanup here in the edges, and we'll get that done too. And if you remember, we made our larger tubs here. The other thing is we want to do today is I want to try to find out where I'm going to put the dash brackets, because we're not using door panels, stock door panels in this. So we're going to do that. But before I forget too, these rivet marks were made using a set of Pounce wheels. You can find these online. This was a 3-pack I got from, I think, Micromark. But as you see, you have little teeth there, and you just roll that right along, and it leaves your indentions. And there's 3 different ones, so if you want them, like I did on that one, to use really small close together, this is the one I used. Then there's one that's a little bit bigger, and then you got the larger one. So it just depends on if you're doing interior, exterior, rivet marks, things like that, but it'll leave you small indentations there. But these are called Pounce wheels, and good little tool for scratch building and making rivet marks. Let's see, the radiator shroud, I'm going to use part of it. I'm going to cut away some of this, and you'll see where I'm going with it here when we get to that. But a lot of this stuff will be cut off. And the firewall, now how we're going to be doing that is just kind of like what we did with the package shelf area there on the interior. I can put this over a piece of probably 20 thousandths sheet plastic, make our cuts, and then cut it just lightly and make our bends there. But I may try to remove this stuff and put like riveted panels over the heater core and blower housing there. A lot of this stuff, just smooth it down, and I may do that and just take a look at it. And I may just go ahead and, that's more 30 thousandths, I think, instead of 20. But anyway, I may do it that way. I don't know yet. I may cut this down and just take a look. So we're going to get started on that. I also want to share with you this real quick. These I did wrap up. Get them in my hand here. We got those tires dull coated and a good wash down in there. As you see here, here's one of the rims with out the wash and with the wash. And then once they're together, you see, I think they turned out really, really good. Okay, so those are ready. That's the first thing done. And the other thing is, before the end of the video, we're going to go ahead and get our, I think I'm going to try to get the heat stains on the headers and a little bit of the engine stuff done. Don't know yet. We're going to see how long the video gets. But in the meantime, we're going to get back on especially the chassis, and we'll see where it goes. Be back, guys. Okay, guys, we're back, and as you can see, we've got everything filled in. We got the frame rails where they were originally coming from right about here. They were canting outward like this, and that was causing those leaf springs, of course, to go out to the mounting points, which were hitting the tires. So we moved those frame rails straight up and down here. So those go in wrap right around the fuel cell. By the way, we do have a fuel cell in. And you can see that Tamiya putty here at the seam. We've got that filled in and sanded. The side walls for the tubs are 20 thousandths evergreen, and the holes that we filled in there are 10 thousandths. And Evergreen makes, it's part number 9008, and this pack is a multi-pack. It's a 10, 20, and 40 thousandths. I don't know why they didn't put 30 in there, because I use 30 quite a bit too. But you've got one sheet each there. But if you're wanting to just get something, save a little money, there's your multi-pack there, 9008. But anyway, I wanted you to see this before we got the primer on it. I do have some rough sanding to do here and there before we shoot the primer. You can see a little bit right there at the joint where it went in, and we'll do some sanding there. Honestly, guys, I didn't have to go through all this for more of a shelf model than anything else, but at the same time, if I'm going to do something, I have to do it the way I want it. So, and the other thing is, when I'm scratch building this kind of stuff, it's just downright fun. So I want you to see this, though, in the raw before I got the primer on it, and before I kind of clean it up a little bit with sanding sticks and sandpaper. And we'll go ahead and get some of that stuff out here and start working on that a little bit. I also did modify the rear end just a little bit, cut the leaf springs off, because we're going to have to put our mounting points a little further in, and instead of them going out like they were, we brought those straight back in too, so we'll be taking care of those as well. Also want to get some of the front suspension on here before we hit with our primer too. Well, the parts that are going to be the semi-gloss black, but then we'll get the primer on it, take a look at it, see if we need to touch sand it anymore, and we'll go from there. Okay, guys, I'm going to get primer on this, and then we'll start on the interior, and we'll be back. We have our primer on the chassis, and as you see, that looks pretty good. I can see already there's a couple of spots I'm going to have to go back and touch sand a little bit. Not a big deal. I think those tubs and the rear framing looks pretty good. Went ahead and put some of the front suspension on here. It's not all complete right now, but I think it's looking pretty good. And like I said, this is the first coat of primer, just to kind of see where there's anything that needs some touch-up work. And I've got a little bit here and here again, but overall looks pretty good. On to the interior. I've got our first coat of primer on it, and of course the seat's going to be here. I am going to put I think a plate or something right here to kind of cover up that little gouge in it, and I may put some putty on it. And you'll also see, where's my pointer here it is, these little brackets right here, I cut those away from the door panels, the door cards, because you see this is where the dash is going to mount. And I just noticed there is a little problem with the dash, and I'll show you that here in a second. But you see right here is going to require a little more sanding too. In fact, I'll fill a little bit more there and sand that smooth. But everything else looks pretty good. The dash, I did use the stock dash, and you see the kind of rise there. Well, once I got my piece on there, I trimmed that back down, and I think it looks pretty good. There is a spot, you see that crack right there. I have no clue where that came from. It's not broken, but I know how I'm going to fix that. I've got a 5/1000 sheet, almost paper thin, of sheet plastic. I'm going to cover that up with, and there'll be a script on that, I think. But those pieces from the door card I put in there are for that reason right there, so it would hold a nice spot in place there. So that's looking pretty good, and we'll get on probably in the next, maybe the next one. For the next one I was going to do body and engine work, but may go back and do that a little bit, show you the progress on this too. We looked at the tires and wheels. I did a mock-up with this chassis, or the front suspension on it, and test fit the tires. They look pretty good there, so no problem. And the heat stains for the engine, you see where those pins are there. But went ahead and did the heat stains, and what we used there was, if you recall, the titanium gold Tamiya as a base, and right at the heads got that little bit of hot metal violet, just a little bit, not much, right up at the edge. And then we went back with our exhaust manifold to put some dark spots here and there, and then down toward the tips here and here we did the hot metal burnt carbon. So that has a pretty good burnt metal look to it. And on the body, I did not show you that earlier. I don't know why I didn't, but first thing up, we had to make the plates for the back, for the taillight covers for the race car. And how I did this, guys, you don't reinvent the wheels. The chrome bucket pieces that go normally in from behind, they go up in behind, and then the taillights sit in those. Those are the perfect size. They're a little oversized because they fit in from the back. So you just lay those on your, in this case, 10/1000 sheet plastic, cut around it, smooth it around the edges a little bit, and as you see, there you go. You got your covers. And I'll do the same thing for the front. The gills here on the sides had a little ghosting there, so I've got some 3M spot putty, glazing spot putty on there, so I'm going to go back and go over that one more time. We'll hit it with one last coat of primer. Everything else overall is pretty good. There was a couple little spots, oops, off camera there again, guys, sorry, right down here. And originally I was going to flare these fenders out, and I decided not to when I was making those tubs, because the cars, it's hard to determine. But if I were going to do that, what I would do is take a bottle like this MCW size bottle and a blow dryer, and you see how I just rest that right up against there, and that way I don't flare the body but just the fender. Then I'd hit it with that blow dryer and slowly bring that out. Well, you can see, bring that center section out there just a little bit. And same thing with the front, rest it right up against the top of the fender, and then just lightly bring that out. I decided I wasn't going to do that though, but I may do a whole video just on that. And let's see, was there anything else on the body? Oh, well, the hood, but that's in the dehydrator right now, but it's looking pretty good too. But I've got almost everything out of this, and I think it looks pretty good. You notice the little black dot there. I put that there. What I usually do with the instructions, or excuse me, the decal sheet, is I'll make a photocopy, just stick in the printer and make a photocopy of the original decals, and they're in scale. So after that, I will take and cut out, like for example the PEPSI here, and as you see in this picture, that's where it was on the real car. And so that's what I did, was I kind of aligned the PEPSI decal after I cut it out right there where it's going to be, if I can keep it still there. And that lines up like with the picture where the gas cap's going to be, and it's in line with where it is on the trunk on the photos. So we've got that ready to drill out too. And this is, I think, looking pretty good, guys. So I'm going to wrap this one for right now. Going to go ahead and get this finished up. Going to go ahead and wrap up. As I said, we'll be doing body work, and hopefully we'll wrap up that engine in the next video. The only other thing is that rear axle. I've got the leaf springs cut away, and I did not get these moved over, but we're going to be moving these over just slightly so they'll line straight back up with that new chassis rails back there. Okay, guys, that's it for this one. Hope y'all have an absolutely awesome week. God bless. We'll see you in the next video.